All right, Yotes football fans, welcome back to the 2022 edition of the Steel Show. Super excited to be here with Coach Moroski here, heading into a bye week, but excited to talk about the first couple of games and then look at the season going ahead. So, Coach, we'll jump right into it. You know, your team's 2-0, 2 games into this thing, a couple good wins, one last week on the road. So just kind of evaluate where your team's at right now. What do you like, what you're seeing?
Well, one, it's always good to win. It's always tough to win. So I think emotionally we're right where we want to be. We're confident. I thought the guys worked hard through the bye week and have had a great camp, and so I couldn't be more pleased about that. Then more particularly, I think we're making progress. I really are. I think we're making progress up front on offense and our ability to run the ball and protect. We had a couple protection breakdowns that we can get into later. But the truth is, Montana State Northern was a little bit difficult because we didn't know what they were going to do on either side of the ball. So in our lingo, we say we're preparing and chasing ghosts. Basically, we're getting ready for everything, which is part of what the nature of football these days too, where there's always different stuff. Rocky is maybe one of the best teams in the conference. There's no question about that. So to go to Rocky after beating Northern and come away with I thought a very, very satisfying and impressive win, and as satisfying as impressive as we've had since I've been here. So I do put it up there because it was hot. They're very good. They're sky high. They're very confident. Nate Dick is a different sort of animal to defend. And I thought we did a superb job. So with that, every season is new, every week is new.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's evolving and getting better. So our position with the staff is, can we keep getting better? And I think we can. So I really have liked where we're going this week, and then Southern next week. Everybody's good.
Yeah,
Everybody's
absolutely.
good.
And so, speaking on, and for the Yotes fans who maybe aren't aware, Nate Dick, quarterback at Rocky Mountain, is an elite level athlete.
Right.
Almost a DJP type skill set as far as running the ball. One of the best running backs when he's got the ball in his hand. So defense seemed to do a pretty good job containing him and eliminating some big plays from him. So what do you think the defense was able to do to kind of corral him?
I think that I thought we made a mistake 2 years ago where we underestimated his ability to throw the ball. So if you're watching on the stream, he did throw a few balls into the ground against us, and that's just the way he is. But he can get going. He can throw the deep ball extremely well. He can throw the back shoulder balls really well, which they completed against us.
He did a couple of those,
So my only input was, let's not disrespect his ability to throw. So we came in with the game plan, fully aware that we were going to need to tackle him, and he may get loose a couple times.
He's going to get a couple runs.
But we were going to give up a couple things. He ended up hitting a couple big passes that kept him in the game. But generally speaking, the defense was, in your words, nearly flawless and dominant. And they're a good enough team where if you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay, which they did a little bit, and the game stayed very, very close. But again, I thought the game planning was superb, and I thought our defense played fantastic.
Absolutely.
We have depth on defense too, so especially on the D-line and the linebacking. So we're able to get fresh guys in there, which was critical to defend a guy like Nate Dick and Rocky Mountain College.
Yep, absolutely. No, if you're gonna stop a dual threat running quarterback, you got to be able to kind of platoon some D linemen, and let some fresh legs chase him down a little bit. So, speaking on that defense, obviously, the defense in this program has continued to emerge over the last 3 or 4 years as a pretty dominant group. Coach Jewell does an amazing job with them. You guys do a great job on the recruiting side. So, what overall are they giving you guys that is so good for your team?
Well, I think it starts up front for sure. Can we get pressure on the quarterback, and can we disrupt the run game and all the offensive schemes? So it starts there. So I think that's where we have the strongest group that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like literally, the first guy through the 8th guy are all
pretty,
and maybe more. Yeah. So that helps. And you and I have talked over the years. How are the Yotes getting better? I'm not sure we have better players than we had. Even when we started out, we had some really good players, and but what we do have is more good players. So that helps us practice. That helps our depth. This is the first year we've really been able to utilize the depth the way we did on this past Saturday against Rocky Mountain on defense. So that was very, very pleasing. We also have a group of guys and the coaching staff that are super coachable, into the system, so we're just
buying in.
We're just buying in, but then I believe in evolution in the football sense. You can't be exactly the same every year. So we're evolving in just the right way. But where we're going now, I think, is making us better and better. So that's what I'm interested in as a coach. I love to learn. I love to innovate, all those things. But still, there's a fine line between innovation and new stuff and doing stuff that's within your skill set and what you have personnel-wise. So what Coach Jewell and the defensive staff are doing is perfect, I think. So we're set up well for the season, and it's tough to stop people. Now, there's some great offenses, some great quarterbacks. So again, my input as the head coach is I just want to be varied enough, but also feel very, very comfortable with what we're doing, and I think we're accomplishing that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So moving to the offensive side of the ball, obviously the run game is a super important part of this program. The Yotes are going to run the ball. Yeah, it's been that way from day one to now. And the run game has looked really good, especially Rocky. Guys really got some push going, especially in the first half. All the running backs have been good, but Hunter Gilbert looks to be emerging as a really strong runner, explosive guy. Can you just kind of speak on his performance so far this season?
Hunter's a fantastic athlete, so probably our fastest running back by far, very strong, very explosive. Showed that last year in some critical situations, given Nick Calzaretta a rest. And by the way, we really miss Nick Calzaretta. I mean, he was an unbelievable 4-year starter and all that. Hunter, totally different animal, and he's impressive. We have to find ways. So again, the offense has changed a little bit from where we were going to try to carve out opportunities to run the ball and then throw deep, especially when we had Darius James Peterson here and he could really throw the ball deep. Now we're kind of in that RPO world, which again has to fit. So I think we've made some great strides in that regard.
Yes,
so the essence of that is you don't need to block everybody.
Yep.
So if we can run it boxes that aren't jammed, we think Hunter Gilbert and Alomar are going to have great years. So Hunter is just stronger than people think. He's faster. I think Coach Roper does a great job with him. But that, with the RPO system, helps protect the box, so to speak. So they can't get the safeties too involved in the run, or we're going to throw it over the top. So everything kind of fits together. And I kind of think Hunter Gilbert may be that perfect guy to complement everything else that we're doing. If he can pop some big runs or we can get him loose on some short passes, I think look out.
Absolutely.
The rest of the conference.
Yes, sir. I love that. So you guys are, like I said, 2-0, atop the conference with Tech and maybe a couple other teams. Heading into a bye week. It's an early bye week this year. I know you get 2 of them. Every coach talks about, we want to get better at all phases, and we're trying to get better at everything during a bye week, and it makes total sense. But I think as a head coach, you might, in your mind, have 1 to 2 things that you want to emphasize over this week heading into Southern to get a little bit better at. What would those 1 to 2 things be?
Well, I'll say this. The Thursday before the Rocky Mountain game, in my opinion, was our worst practice of the year. And I take full responsibility for that. And what happened, you'll remember, what we do is we have scout teams, where we're trying to mimic what Rocky Mountain does on offense for our defense and vice versa for our offense. But sometimes if we don't pay close enough attention, those periods degenerate a little bit and it becomes slow and sluggish. And so that's where we kind of were on Thursday, which can't happen. We're still a young, emerging team. And you'll remember my comment to every team, which I believe for sure is, we have some experience in spots, but every team is new. Every team is new. Every team is brand new. And so I take that seriously. And So for us to let that go, we had to rework our thing on the bus trip up to. We stopped in Bozeman at Bozeman High School and practiced. We did a little bit more than we usually do. I talked to the staff. We need to have a great Friday to overcome, you know, where we were. So that mentality then seeped into the bye week, where we were working on speed and efficiency on both offense and defense, and getting calls a little bit quicker. And we got smart guys, Brock. We really do. So and I like to say we play smart man's football. We are testing our players, trying to get the absolute most out of them. But it becomes kind of a call intensive thing, or communication intensive is a better way to put it. And if that's not precise, then you're asking for trouble.
Yes, sir.
And in fact, 2 of the interceptions and a near miss on a touchdown, offensively speaking now, were because of lack of communication or wrong communication. And the quarterback's getting hit right as he's throwing. That's not a good recipe for success.
Of course.
So anyway, but it starts with the communication, the efficiency, the time on the play clock, you know. So it's all those things which we really worked hard at, but I thought we still need to clean up if we're gonna continue to play against these very, very good teams.
Yes, sir.
However, that only exemplifies how well we did play in certain spots. So again, I don't want to take anything away from our players, our coaches. I was absolutely thrilled with what we did, but we still want to make progress. And that's been, and you remember the days, right, where we were 0-5 going into the bye week. My opinion, that was the turning point of the whole program. We had a great bye week, got back to fundamentals, efficiency, many of the same things I'm talking about. And then we ran the table that year, and that set the stage for 2019. So anyway, so it's always fun, always challenging. But again, I think it's been a great week, great bye week.
Amazing. And one more thing on bye weeks. Obviously, you guys are allowed to have one non-conference game if you want. But if you decline that and you play 0 week, you get 2 bye weeks throughout the season. Some would say, we want to keep rolling and not have too many stops once you get into a rhythm, play every week. Others, want to get healthy. Kind of what's your thoughts on that? Is that kind of a you call, and do you like the 2 bye weeks?
Don't love the 2 bye weeks, but I do like having a bye, and we've gotten pretty good at it because we've kind of honed in this schedule and this approach that we have. So in the old days that you played through, we played Portland State, we played Northern Colorado. Tough to beat those teams, and I remember the former coach at Montana Tech, who's now the defensive coordinator at the University of Washington, Chuck Morrell, said, the problem is, Mike, even if you played a really close game against a 1AA team, it wouldn't help you in the rankings.
In fact, it would
still.
They look at that as a loss.
It would hurt you.
Even though it's like it shouldn't even count.
And it makes sense because the rankings people, they don't see everybody play. They're just going on comparative scores and all that. So the last thing they're going to do is get into the Division I realm. Now, with a couple of our players standing within earshot, I think guys like that, though.
Yeah.
I think those were important games for our program, Northern Colorado and Portland State, because they were the best practice weeks we ever had. Guys have a little chip on their shoulder and think we can play with these guys, which we did. And so I think that really helped the program. So it's just it's all a little bit of a dilemma. And maybe the overarching thing, the final thing is it's a physical game. So we're still licking our wounds a little bit. We're sore and beat up, and that's the nature of football. We need to preserve our depth, get a few guys back. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Exciting.
I think we have a chance to push for, we can play with everybody in the conference, but we got to be ready to go. There's I think there's 5 or 6 teams in the conference that are
agreed.
Top 20.
I totally
caliber.
agree. And looking, ahead to potentially one of them, you guys got Southern Oregon next week. They do look like an improved team. Struggled a little the last couple years as far as their standards and expectations of their program. Great program down there. Any Yote fan knows that. So what are you seeing from them early, both offense and defensively as a team? What are you seeing from them?
Well, again, they reloaded on their staff. Their former defensive coordinator was the head coach at Montana State Northern, Jerome Sowers, Montana legend and all that. So So he kind of had us dialed in pretty good last year. We struggled a little bit offensively against them. They have 2 defensive ends that are big and tough and a different style from what anybody else has in the conference.
Okay.
So they'll present some real issues. So they're tough and physical, and then they have speed in the secondary. So that's the thing. And I also think that they're clearly adding things every single week. Newish staff, but I think their head coach likes where they are, so they're adding a little bit at a time. So with the bye week, again, we'll run into things that we haven't seen on film. And then offensively, they're still pretty darn fast. They like to throw the ball and throw the ball deep. They seem to be a little bit more in the ball control mode, so it could be a very quick game. So you got to it makes you take advantage of your possessions. But it's their speed and their size that makes them different. Anyway, so we're preparing for that. Again, that's why one of our goals in the bye week was to play fast, do a lot of yotes versus yotes, and against good versus good, and really get going out there and see if we can progress in that way. And Southern, they played Rocky pretty darn tough. I mean, that was a nip and tuck game, and then they blew out Northern, and so they're a good team. We got to be ready. Never an easy trip going down to Ashland, so but I look forward to that. I think it's been good atmosphere, and they're recent national champions, and so we got to be ready to go.
Absolutely. And so I guess lastly, to kind of close things up, what are the two or three things or one main thing that the Yotes got to do to get a win in Ashland this next weekend?
I think we just need that greater efficiency. I mean, I think we can't afford to. The great thing about Rocky, which was really pleasing, was first 2 drives, it was bing, bing, bing. Got a couple breaks now, got a couple PI penalties. But to score on your first 2 drives is awesome. So again, that's one of my personal goals is we got to score early.
Yeah,
and
fast start,
same thing at Southern. So it's that, score early. I think we got to make some big plays, whether in the run game or the pass game. I just think it's just so hard to move the ball, incrementally down the field. So that's, again, so great about the Rocky game in the second half. We're struggling a little bit. They're very good. They're even getting to us a little bit. They blow a coverage. We hit John Schofield, who's another JC guy, Broch, but a JC guy that really fits the culture. And he's fast and tough, so the fans, number 22, you want to look out for him. He's going to have a great year. He really helps us, and that was a big, huge play that ultimately won the game. The other thing that we did well that I was very pleased with was obviously the defense in the second half was tremendous. And right down to the wire.
That were, winning the game basically.
Yes,
you got 4 or 5 right in a row.
Right down to the wire. But it's such a team game. It's a consummate team game. Where when we got the ball with, I think, 5.5 minutes left, we drove it for 4.5 minutes. Unfortunately, we didn't finish that drive, but that was a great drive. I thought Andy Peters came into himself a little bit. A couple big third down conversions, another big play. So that was huge for us to rise up in that situation. So I'd like to see us rise up a little bit early and then sustain that through the game. So anyway, so we have a lot to work on. Lot to build on, though. So I couldn't be more excited with this group. I think we'll be ready for Southern Oregon. So I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, Yotes fans. Thanks for tuning in this week. We're going to get these going out more regularly. Catch this stream. Go to the College of Idaho football schedule and click watch down there on the Southern Oregon game. We'd love to get those views up and have all the Yotes fans tune in. And we appreciate so much. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Thanks so much.